Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Huell's Gold. My name is Alan.
My name is Chris.
Nice. All right, where are we at?
We're in LA again.
Just LA?
Just LA. We're doing a single city again.
Okay. Well, let's do it.
Yep, it's a single city episode again. We've already been to LA. Huell's back home. LA was his home at this time, I think.
Was this he had a condo, right? Or was it an apartment?
It was an apartment, but it was quite a fancy one. There's a documentary that one of the PBS stations in California did on him from his Los Angeles apartment, and I looked it up. I think Huell was raking in some big bucks even back then, because
Wasn't there something about he wasn't a flashy person? I mean, you would see him; he'd wear khakis and a polo was kind of his standard getup. But wasn't there something about watches with him that he always liked to have a really nice watch?
It's funny you say that because I was watching some episode this morning, and it looked like he was wearing just like a $10 Casio watch to me. Maybe that was his show watch.
Maybe it was before he made it. Yeah, I don't know.
I bet he didn't wear the nice Rolexes, up to...
Till he gets to the Kern River.
Yeah. When he's rafting, he's just wearing the Casio. But the theme song this week was, I gotta say, it wasn't the flashiest. Last week.
Well, before we get to, what is he doing initially? Before we get to the theme song, he starts the show, takes his walking stick,
and
he plops it right into the tar pits.
Yeah.
Well, tar pit, I should say.
There's more than one, but this is the lake.
Yeah, this is the big one.
Have you been to La Brea tar pits before?
No, I think last episode I mentioned that I've seen it on Last Action Hero.
My third favorite movie I've never seen. Yeah.
You should watch it. I thought it looks great. There's an explosion that happens. You really haven't seen it.
I really haven't.
Oh, an explosion happens under the tar
Maybe
pits, and it makes a big giant tar bubble.
No.
No? Okay.
That sounds cool though, because the La Brea tar pits, they're kind of cool. I've been to the museum. It's definitely not a flashy place. It is just a museum of bones. And well, the one cool thing is there's a entire wall of dire wolf skulls, which are these bigger wolves that are now extinct.
Dire wolves?
Dire wolves, yeah.
Okay.
There's a whole wall of them in these plastic cases with this yellowy light from behind. It's kind of artistic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, Huell is having a good time in the tar pit over here in his khakis, which don't seem like the type of pants you'd want to wear next to a lake of oil. But
yeah, he goes. He doesn't care. We've seen him in the Thule grass or the
sloshing
the
around.
Terra firma. Oh, no.
Yeah.
They thought it would be terra firma, but it's not. It was not.
But yeah, after Huell does his cold open here at the tar pits, we then cut to Ruben Rivas of Cal State Long Beach doing the theme this week. It's just flute.
In front of the tar pit.
In front of the tar pits. The one thing that's a little disappointing is the flute is regular size.
Yeah. Well, there's a second thing that's disappointing in this intro is there is no outline of California.
I didn't even notice this until you brought it up when we were doing our notes. I wonder what was going on. Was there like a strike at the graphic design office at KCET? What was going on?
Maybe they just thought they know.
I mean, LA, yeah, it is just a pretty obvious place. I don't think they need to map it for us, but come on, Huell.
It is, I know. I mean, 5 episodes in. Well, this is 6. Drop the ball. It's okay.
Yeah. Maybe they thought that everyone would be so enamored with Ruben while he's playing his flute in a suit in front of the lake.
Wish you could have had a third thing to rhyme.
I know, right? I'm not Buster Rhymes, though. Anyway, after the La Brea tar pits, we're on to our first main segment. Where we jetting off to?
Well, he gives an old toot on his flute in a suit.
There you go.
All right, so we're leaving the tar pits, and let's listen to Huell and see where we're going next.
It's impossible to ignore it. this wonderful 60s spaceship, space-age Sputnik building called the Theme Building. And its strange shape not only catches your eye, but your imagination as well. Back in the late 50s and early 60s, LA decided to build itself a new airport. And right in the middle of this airport, they plopped down this strange thing and called it the Theme Building. In 1961, Vice President Lyndon Johnson came to town, dedicated the new airport, and the place was in business. Now, the entire airport was state-of-the-art, but from the very beginning, it was the Theme Building that got all the press. It seemed to sum up what Southern California was all about. It was new and innovative and fun, and broke some rules along the way. It was an airport theme building like none other in the world.
Okay, so the first segment.
Yeah.
We're at LAX.
We're at the airport.
So what's the first thing you see here?
Well, planes.
Well, yeah, but, Louis' artistic shots.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely him. He talked a lot about his camera work in his book and how proud he was of the show, and then some of his other work that KCET was doing with experimental theaters and all kinds of other things. And this is definitely his little 30 seconds of getting these
artsy.
Yeah, and like the geometric shapes of the building we're at.
The first thing that I thought when I saw them, so wow, he's filming a wing, like the painting, the logo of a airline company on the wings.
No.
Do you not see that?
Oh, I do. Yeah. But no, that's not this. This is a big giant building.
Right.
If you've ever been to LAX, you drive in and then you just see regular looking buildings. And then there's this big, it's referenced in the episode as being very spacey, spaceshipy, space shuttle-y.
I've been to LA. I don't know why I don't remember seeing this.
It's more obscured now because even in this episode, you see the parking structure. The parking structures are like basically surround this thing now. You can't see it much from what I remember. I haven't been there in years, but
does it block the beautiful view of the parking lots that you get from the restaurant?
Yeah. But we're at the theme building, which I had no idea this thing had a name or that it was a thing. I thought it was just a giant sculpture because it doesn't look like a building per se when you're driving past it. Just looks like a big dome thing.
An unfinished dome.
There you go. But as we learn in the episode, there's much more to this than meets the eye. But this pales in comparison to the stuff they were wanting to do at LAX.
So the next part of the segment, Huell goes in and talks to Bill Schoenfeld, who was the architect who helped design this structure.
Mm-hmm. The whole airport.
Well, you're basically the whole airport.
Yeah.
And he gives Huell the
$5 tour.
Yeah, no, that happens later at UCLA.
Oh yeah, okay.
He gives him kind of behind the scenes look at the original plans.
Yeah.
And he shows what the plans show is this thing was crazy. The plans for it were crazy.
Because it was the whole theme building that if you know what we're talking about. If you don't, look at our Instagram and you'll see the pictures that we post of it. The original plan was for that to be the entire airport, basically, or the terminal at least.
Like Biodome.
Yeah, exactly. With a perpetual Pauly Shore in the LAX terminal, which would have been cool. Who knows? Maybe he's there all the time as it is, wheezing the juice. But did you notice that Bill says that this building would have been so big that it would have its own weather?
Yeah.
It would rain inside?
It would rain too, yeah.
I don't know about that, Bill. I've been in some big buildings. Never seen a cloud.
What's the biggest building you've been in?
Biggest building I've ever been in? Probably Exhibit Hall A at the Kern County Fairgrounds.
That's the biggest building you've been in?
I've been in the Empire State Building, big stuff at New York.
The biggest building I've been in, it's a Bass Pro Shop.
Oh, the Yeah, those things are giant, right? They have
huge.
They have ponds
I
in
mean,
them.
think about it. It's probably the biggest. Well, I mean, in terms of feeling, like Bill was talking about, as a dome or a huge building. It's really not that big, though. It could have been.
But when we're looking at the original plans, like from an aerial view, I mean, I don't know about you, but this thing kind of reminded me of like a crop circle. It's like concentric circles with other circles. It looks like the chamber of a revolver. Like if you look at it from the...
Yeah, it's pretty, well, very symmetrical.
Yeah.
I thought, the first thing I thought I was telling you about was that it looks like Ebenezer Howard's Garden City, which anybody who knows, I guess...
Here we go.
Urban planning history? I don't know what it is. But to me, it was the first thing I saw. Whatever that singed in my brain. I don't know anything about it.
You told me that, and you showed me the picture, and you're absolutely right. It looks like it, to the point where I'm pretty sure that old Bill just ripped that off.
Okay, that's pretty harsh.
Sorry, Bill, if you're listening, prove me wrong, because this thing looks exactly like the Garden City that Alan is showing me. What was the architect's name?
Ebenezer Howard.
Yeah, and that was like 1903. So that's quite a bit before this. So there's plenty of.
Maybe he has an artistic license. I mean, they use it for an airport.
Yeah,
not a city.
Airports are in cities.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Doesn't matter.
Come at me, Bill.
Really, they never built it. So
yeah. So I guess Bill's the first. So after we leave the planning office at in the control tower, Huell heads over to the actual building. He talks to Ethel Pattinson, which is close to my grandma's name, Ethel Patricia. Kind of threw me off there. Thought my grandma was in the show, and she never told me. I would disown her. But she was in public relations for LAX for 35 years, and
your grandma, right?
I wish.
Oh, she was Meadowsfield.
No. We actually lived near LAX at this time, so
okay.
Put that in your pipe.
All right.
But that's just the first of the great little talking segments here. The yuckity yucks that Huell does with people. The next one was one of your favorites, right? What'd you call these guys?
I'd call them the Silver Lake Boys.
Yeah.
The time travelers.
Yeah, keeping with the time travelers. These guys.
Like, I could see them sitting down.
Yeah.
On some sort of transit system and typing on a typewriter instead of a laptop.
Selling poems.
And wearing a jumpsuit.
On
a mechanic's jumpsuit.
Gold cardstock for $8 each. Yeah, this guy, we got this guy with his tucked in t-shirt. Can't tell what the graphic is on it, but he's got like a trucker hat kind of a thing going. His backpack's cinched up real tight on his shoulders. He's got like this yellow Casio watch. But my favorite thing he's got a plastic bag full of individual sized bags of Ruffles.
Yeah. Clear bag, right? So
yeah, like a clear cellophane bag.
Yeah.
With bags of Ruffles.
Well, and the way he describes the structure, he says it's atomic, 50s looking thing, ... So beautiful.
Yeah. His friend in the denim jacket just smiling, just enjoying being there.
Yeah.
He's just liking hanging out.
So our second favorite.
Yes, which is much shorter of an interaction.
About 2 seconds long.
Yeah. Huell asks us, we're assuming German tourists based on the accent. So what do you think of this thing?
What's that?
That's all they said. This lady in this cool early 90s Disneyland shirt, obviously just gotten back from the Magic Kingdom.
That reminds me of my wife's. So she did a semester away in Germany, and her host family was obviously German. Fast forward, they come to California, and this is a stopover before they go to Las Vegas. They come back from Vegas to her parents' house, and they ask her, "Hey, so did you like Vegas?" And she says, and this is my best German accent. It's not trying to be insulting in any way. It's the best I can do. She said, It was very blinky.
A more accurate description of Vegas I've never heard.
No, not at all. And they asked them if they liked it, and they said, not really.
Very blinky.
Okay, so now we're in the theme building.
We're actually inside now.
And I guess we're at the bottom here. Yeah. And Huell's talking to the front desk lady.
Did you miss?
Is this incorrect?
No, yeah, front desk lady, but you must have missed this real rocker we got over here.
Not yet. No. He meets him as they're going up the elevator. Yeah.
All right, so
Brendan Fraser's stunt double for Airheads holds the door open for Huell.
This guy definitely looks like he was part of the Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, for sure. He's got this sick feathered hair, a leather jacket, the jeans with the rips. Definitely seems like a real kind of...
Joe Dirt would say he's a rocker through and through.
That's right. But he's a polite guy.
No, he's very nice. He holds the door open. I mean, the whole thing.
He allowed his girlfriend to go first. He's very polite. Holds the door for Huell. Doesn't look in the camera like the hooligans from last week waving at it. He just knows, I'm on TV. I got to act like everything's cool. I don't want to ruin Louis' shot. I'm just going to hold the elevator so they can get on. And we can all just go up to the restaurant.
I mean, he has a cool guy demeanor, though. Not in a bad way.
Oh, no, yeah.
No, he's just whatever. Hold the door. Let's go. What floor are you going to?
Number 3. We're going up to third floor. We're going up to the theme room, which is a restaurant in the theme building, which my mom has told me about this and has been there numerous times. I guess it was a stop off that they would, or like a little weekend treat that they would have for themselves. It seems like a huge pain in the butt to drive to the airport to go eat.
Especially LAX. I don't think it's a mystery here. It's like the worst airport to go visit.
Yeah.
Or be dropped off at or get picked up from. So in the restaurant, do you see any characters?
Well, yeah, I thought we were having a guest appearance by Matthew McConaughey from Dazed and Confused, but it's just a LA Kings fan. This guy really does look like... I had to look up the character's name. In the movie, Matthew McConaughey plays a guy named Wooderson. I've seen that movie a bunch of times.
I never remember the name, yeah.
No. But this guy, he's just chilling. He's also by himself at the restaurant.
Could be someone across from him.
I didn't see anyone.
Who's he looking at right there?
The view. He's got the window seat.
You know what? You're right. That's right.
Because the window seat's the big deal because a waitress named Hope Leto talks about how people want the window seats and sometimes there's no window seats, and she tells them that they can have a card that will be with her number on it so that they can call next time and get the window seat. I'm not buying it, Hope. I don't think you're giving out your home phone number.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Plus, what would that accomplish if you're giving out your home phone number? I mean, maybe she just misspoke, but...
So
that's a weird way to pick up dudes.
Would you? So you've never been to the restaurant, right?
I don't even know if it's still there.
That's a good point.
Maybe we should check that. All right, so we looked it up. We're back. It is closed. It's gone. So no, I have not been there and will not be there.
Ever.
I guess. Well, then,
You can speculate, though. I mean, this view. Are you impressed by the view?
At the current time of the show, yes, 1991. It looks cool. You drive by LAX now, it's pretty obscured by even more taller parking structures. Like we were saying, it's not, LAX isn't my favorite place to go. But Huell can sell me on anything, so maybe I'll go. But
yeah,
we're out of here. We're heading on to the next segment. Let's hear what Huell has to say about that.
Oh, the college tradition. And at UCLA, that tradition is alive and well. In fact, when you're on the old part of the campus, you can feel it in the air. Now, I was there at the invitation of university officials who wanted to show me the very first building constructed on their Westwood campus back in the 1920s. Well, I arrived a few minutes early and nosed around the part of the campus where I'd heard all the early buildings were located. And after looking at all the cornerstones, I pretty much had narrowed it down to either Haynes Hall or Kinsey Hall or Royce Hall or the Powell Library, all of which were constructed in 1928-29. Then I met up with Duke Oakley, the campus architect who had invited me there in the first place. He proceeded to take me in a direction away from these 4 famous old buildings, to a spot where there wasn't a building at all. I didn't know what to think.
So we're on campus. We're at UCLA.
Not USC.
No.
Not CSULA.
Not CSULB. Reuben, flute in a suit.
Not CSU Dominguez Hills.
Not CSU Bakersfield, our alma mater. Right?
Okay, yeah. So we're UCLA. We're here.
And he was looking for the oldest structure on campus, which...
I mean, I'm not well versed, but he was mentioning the halls, and I've been to Royce Hall, very ornate and old.
Yeah,
So I said, okay.
I actually saw a live podcast there. Very influential in my life since I'm doing that right now.
All right, let's just, who was it?
Radio Lab.
Oh, okay.
Like the biggest podcast in the world.
Just a little bit, yeah.
We're second to them.
Close second.
Mm-hmm. What were you at Royce Hall for?
A friend's graduation.
Oh.
Yeah. There was also an old man. That's irrelevant to the story, but a guy was on the organ. And
I didn't even know there was an organ in there.
I don't know how to describe it besides ornate, crazy, over the top organ.
Big.
And he was playing the sheet music that looked like it was on legal paper. Like whatever,
I've
12,
seen
13-inch
before,
paper.
yeah.
It was pretty cool to watch.
But Royce Hall isn't the oldest building on the UCLA campus, which would be kind of a cool place to go look at, you'd assume. But no, Huell finds out that it's a bridge. That's right.
Yeah.
A bridge.
And that's a bit misleading. And they keep saying that.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you. And tell me if this is too strong of an opinion. But I'm totally unimpressed by this.
I mean, I get where you're coming. It is because us saying it's a bridge is misleading because if you're not watching the episode or haven't watched the episode, we're seeing Huell. The shot is him with Duke Oakley, which me saying that name also would be misleading to make you think that like someone like Duke Nukem is showing up. But no, Duke Oakley, who is the
campus architect, right?
He's a campus architect. He's like a articulate, clean-cut man in a suit, sitting in a wheelchair. Not Duke Nukem.
No.
Duke Oakley. Totally different
Yeah, you'd
guy.
have to have a first-person perspective, too.
Exactly. But as misleading as his name is to his persona, this bridge is misleading to its actual appearance because this is a road and a sidewalk.
Yeah.
And Huell has to hammer this point home that no, it is still a functioning bridge because there's technically nothing underneath it. It used to span over an arroyo, which we had fun defining today.
Right, which is basically a gully.
Yeah, it's a gully. It's a creek canyon.
Yeah, just a stream cut thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There used to be an arroyo next to the campus that you'd have to cross over on this bridge. And then they thought, hey, why don't we just fill in the canyon? But let's leave the bridge. All right. It makes sense. They don't need that much dirt, that much less dirt.
Yeah. And this is, I mean, you just mentioned it, but he's really trying to sell it here.
Big time.
This is really cool. So you mean if I stand over here, this isn't just dirt? You mean if it wasn't filled in, it would go all the way down? And he
40
says,
feet
yes,
down?
40 feet, about 40 feet. And, yeah,
Well, it seemed like a cool concept.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the concept was cooler than the actual end product because, it's a television show, so we want to see something cool, but it looks like Huell's just on a sidewalk, which, down the line, him on a sidewalk can be quite entertaining, but this one,
I didn't see it. That's all.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that sells it to me as a viewer is Huell's interactions with people on said
Those are
bridge.
good. Those are really good.
Because he talks to a number of different people, a nice wide range of styles of people. But my favorite was he looked like a student, right? With the big glasses. And he's not into it.
No, he just shut down the...
Where's the bridge?
And he was just trying to playfully say, oh, you're on the bridge.
What's it over?
Where's it at? Where's it going?
He didn't like it.
No.
So Huell has to prove to us that it is a bridge, and he goes underneath it because they talk about how they do walking tours when they need to change the light bulbs down there. Riveting stuff.
And this is his $5 tour.
That's what he calls it, the $5 tour. Because he even says when he comes back out, because the man who's giving him the tour, named Chris, also, good name.
Strong name.
Yeah, he says, yeah, there's not a lot going on down here. And then Huell comes up and says, Chris was right. There's not a lot going on down there. And that's kind of it on this. Like the bridge is the bridge, but we have one more character who
Well, there may be something going on down there, though.
Oh, there was that graffiti. What did that say?
It said, don't know, rocks. It didn't say don't know.
Yeah,
I couldn't
you
read
just
it.
couldn't tell.
I'm going to guess it's some sort of fraternity.
Because it just looked like a couple, like 3 letters.
Yeah.
Maybe they were Greek. Maybe they were Elvish. I don't know. Some naughty words there. Anyway, who's the guy that he talks to once he comes back up?
When Huell comes up from the tour underneath the bridge, he talks to James, or he goes by Jim.
Yeah.
Jim Clane, not John McClane
No.
from Die Hard.
Jim Clane.
This is Jim Clane, class of 43, found out he was an English major.
That's not what he wanted to do.
No, he wanted to be in theater.
Yeah.
But he came back as a theater technician, and then I believe he was the manager of Royce Hall, which is a pretty cool history.
Yeah,
spent
he's
his whole life at UCLA.
Sounds like something you would want to do.
Yeah.
Just be at college forever. Yeah, he had some cool insights and still didn't sell us fully on the bridge, but I liked his funny take on it.
Enthusiasm was...
He was enthusiastic.
It was nice.
But...
So before we leave the bridge, Huell sort of is given the transition before we go into the next segment. And he talks about driving, walking, biking, or skateboarding across the bridge. And there's one small thing that I think that we should mention is when Huell is mentioning skateboarding, there's a shot of a person on rollerblades holding a boogie board. And I think maybe they thought, oh, roller skates and a board, so skateboarding, skating board. But yeah, that didn't work.
Huell. I mean, the X Games wasn't going to start for a couple more years. He wasn't as well versed in his extreme sports. Can we blame him?
He lived in Southern California.
True, but
you made a good point. Is where's this kid going? Not college age, and the beach is not close, at least within rollerblading distance.
That's a long blade.
Yeah, that is. Maybe just bringing a boogie board back to his bro's house.
Could be. So we're out of here. We're getting out of the bridge, and Huell, tell us where we're going next.
Located right in the heart of downtown LA, this place has been around since 1917. It was full of customers back when it opened 70 years ago, and it's still full of customers today. Now, this market is overflowing with every conceivable type of food product, but that's just the half of it, because when you come here, you're going to be mingling with people from all over the world. There's an excitement, an energy here. And shopping in this truly grand market?
I think it's exciting. It's very exciting. It's an adventure. Simple as that.
It's like carnival here. A flea market that sells produce and fruit and all kinds of things.
It's an antique place.
Antique place? What do you mean by that?
Well, it's what I said. It's been here for years. I've been coming here 41 years.
Beverly Hills don't know what they're losing out on.
So have you ever been to the Grand Central Market?
I've been once.
Okay.
And I visited 2 restaurants. Well, I don't know if I call them restaurant. One's a restaurant. The other one's is a coffee shop. Like, this is irrelevant information. but I've been to Egg Slut and G&Me Coffee.
Okay. I also have been once, and I went to neither of those places.
Where did you go?
I went to the Jewish deli. I forget what that's called. Wexler's? Yeah, Wexler's had the pastrami. I guess that's all I went to. That's all I ate at. I was with friends, and they all had other things. Thai, and someone had a slice of pizza, I think, or something.
Was there anything interesting you notice about the way Huell looks, or how the pieces of video are cut together?
Well, yeah, definitely, because this segment certainly harkens back to the video log days, as far as Huell's shirt he's wearing. He often wore, from the few video logs I've seen, he wears this like long sleeve button up with a tie a lot, but also his hair is significantly browner.
Yeah.
So pretty sure this is a video log segment that they just shlamied on into.
Just
this.
fit right in there.
Yeah.
I mean, the microphone also, it's a black
That's
microphone.
right.
It's not the gray mic
Yeah.
that he's using. So, it's very, very clever. I guess they just had some extra footage they wanted to splice together.
But if you notice here, like as Huell's talking to the South American family, the guy at the meat market who was talking about getting buffalo, he's still got that shirt, that mic. But then when he switches over to the juice bar, he's got the silver mic with the peach salmonish colored polo shirt. So what did he go? Is there even a bathroom at the market? Like he's going down there to change his shirt?
He must be. He must have dyed his hair too.
He got some Just for Men in there.
It's still brown, but
Yeah.
it looks different.
He seems very surprised by some of these fairly common like California style foods, like cactus or nopales. Like that's not too out of the ordinary to me here. But I mean, Huell's a Tennessee boy, so
That's true. Yeah.
But
there is a scene when he's talking to, they don't really show her name, but he's talking to a woman, and she's telling him that she wants to be in the in group, and they share a laugh together. And there's an old man with a very bushy mustache behind them, and they both start laughing because he thinks it's funny, and you just see him, he has a stern face, and his little mustache starts to turn into a smile.
it's like the yawn effect. It's like the yawn goes from the lady to Huell to the man behind them. It's just infectious because Huell laughs so big his head flies out of frame, and the guy, Super Mario-esque looking guy, kind of looks like I don't even know why I'm smiling, but I'm smiling.
So if you're watching it, that happens at about 23 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah,
If you want to see that
nice timestamp.
that happen.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of good interactions. That's basically what this whole segment is Huell's interactions with people shopping. Because the market doesn't look much like this anymore. It's not so much of like a farmer's market. It's much more, there's a lot of stands selling foods, restaurant kind of setups.
Which I do wonder, because is it Tracy Lyon? That was the general manager. The first thing I thought of when I saw that his name pop up and it said general manager is, man, how do you become the general manager of Grand Central Market? It doesn't seem very easy.
I don't
Seems like a
think
very
it's not
stressful
something
job.
that they interview you for.
Turns out he's part of the Lyon family.
And they own the market?
They own the market, and
okay.
he was like a partial owner later. I don't know what the status is now, but maybe he sold it and just changed form. So before we leave, do you recall the quote that Huell says before we make the transition to the next segment?
It's there's not a lot of quotes or things that Huell says or does on the show that give us a glimpse into his personal life, but this is one of them. He's talking about the market. He says, to be honest, I've never really gotten into shopping for groceries. So I guess in Huell's palatial apartment, he's not. He doesn't. Who knows if he even has a refrigerator because he doesn't go grocery shopping.
Right. Well, we were talking about this, and as most people know, John Mahoney, Martin from Frasier.
Yes.
It was a sad day, but he passed on last week. Well, a few days ago, actually. Yeah. And I remember I was reading sort of about his personal life in one of the Frasier commentaries. And he was mentioning that he never cooked for himself. He lived in Chicago most of his life. And he just even when he didn't have money, he let other people cook for him. He just said, "I deny myself nothing." I think that was the quote. And maybe it's a thing.
Well, you told me that earlier today. It reminded me of another fellow podcaster, Chris D'Elia. He's a comedian. He, on his podcast, talked about also never cooking. But this is 2018, and he lives in Los Angeles, much like Huell did. But there's Postmates and Uber Eats and all these things.
That's right, yeah.
It's much easier to be a no-cooker now as opposed to then. Like, Huell had to get in the Ford Explorer, drive to wherever he was going to have food cooked for him, whoever that may be.
That's true. Yeah.
That's dedication to the no-cook life.
Yeah.
But Huell did it, so he says. And with that, let's see where we're going next.
It was the 1880s, and what we're looking at is a drawing of downtown L.A., a large portion of which was planted in citrus groves. Now we're in the 1990s, and little Tokyo stands on the very spot where these citrus groves once stood over 100 years ago. The citrus trees are all gone. But wait, that's not true. And I know that because for the last stop on our adventure, we were invited to the plaza of the Japanese American Cultural Community Center to watch the harvesting of grapefruit off the last remaining grapefruit tree from that original 100-year-old grove.
So as we heard, Huell's at the Japanese American Cultural and Community Center.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
It's actually the plaza of the Japanese American Culture Community Center. But why is he there?
He's gonna look at an old tree.
You know, it's funny because you'd think that seeing an old fruit tree would be one of those things that I wouldn't be into, much like the bridge. But that's not true, because on a road trip in New England, I actually went and saw another old fruit tree.
What kind of fruit?
It was a pear tree. It was in Danvers. It was
in Essex County?
Yeah. Yeah, that's in Massachusetts. It's the Endicott pear tree. And I think I was at a bookstore and saw it on Google Maps, just as a little descriptor there, and went looking for it. And it's just next to a medical building parking lot. And it took me forever to find it because there's no marker, there's no nothing. You just got to look for the tree with the fence around it. And I found it. And I looked at it.
Well, that's cool.
Yep.
So what kind of tree are we looking at in this segment?
We're looking at a grapefruit tree, which is the last grapefruit tree of the orchards that were in Los Angeles in this area. Because, there's lots of citrus that was grown in Southern California, and most of that is now gone due to urban sprawl.
I would say land needed to be used more intensely.
Sure.
I think that's
But they saved this tree. It's the last grapefruit tree, and they moved it from where it was going to be bulldozed to its current location at the plaza of the Japanese American Cultural Community Center.
So we could just get to what happens here. Huell gets pranked.
He sure does.
Once you see, okay, so you watch it and then you watch the segment again, they know it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Frank He has a little smirk on his face.
Frank Kuahara.
Kind of just tells him. He just says, "Yeah, it's a little bitter.
It's a little tart.
Oh, the tart is what he
Yeah.
says. Yeah, that's right."
But the lady next to him is just smiling ear to ear because she knows. Old Katz Kunitsugu couldn't stop smiling because she knew that Huell was about to have a tart explosion.
I feel
in
like
his
he knew
mouth.
something was up, but he went with it. So they cut him a small piece,
Yeah.
and she spoons it to him,
Yeah.
and she's already cracking up.
Yeah.
And he takes a bite. And he
loving
does the. I'm sorry for if you hate this noise, but kind of look on his face. He looks like he ate just a warhead.
Oh, man.
It's so good. But then Huell, then he mentions after, he said, "Man, this is the most historic grapefruit I've ever eaten." You know what? Why not?
Exactly. I mean, I don't know what other competition there is in the historical grapefruit competition, but this takes the cake. And what do you think of Huell's sweater polo rolled up sleeve combo he's got with the white jeans?
White jeans, not as comfortable, but the sweater setup he got,
It's good.
It looks very comfy.
But once again, with this piecemeal episode, he changes clothes again.
Right. Yeah. So this is about 4 times.
So, at least.
So one thing watching this is, it's lighthearted. They play a joke on one another. And then he gives her a question that's kind of a serious thing. What does this tree represent? And she... It was really nice, her answer.
Yeah.
It's symbolic. It's still that we have roots here and that we're here to prosper. Like
Exactly,
we're still here
yeah.
and still going to prosper.
She pulled that one out of something.
But
though,
it was kind of
because-
like laughing. And, oh, okay. Serious conversation.
Then Huell, he wraps it up at this nice fountain. Again, like we said, changes the shirt. He's in the blue polo now with the khakis, with the biceps flaring. Mm-hmm. Did you notice anything different about this? We didn't have the California outline at the beginning. Did you notice anything that we're missing here?
There is no outro.
There's no music at the end.
Yep.
This was a jam-packed episode that they cut.
Well, do you think this is a good... Maybe we can speculate a little bit on this.
All right.
Do you think that they had so much material that they had to cut the last song? Or could they not find someone to play the last song? So they just extended the material.
I'm going to go with they couldn't find someone because, again, this was a pieced together episode. Maybe there was no musician set up, ready to go at the plaza of the Japanese American Cultural Community Center. You think there'd be someone with another flute and a suit?
No.
They don't even replay Ruben's theme at the end. It just cuts.
Well, I mean, to me, I was led to believe they could just play that again, but they didn't because they had a lot of material. Whatever,
Yeah, I
we're
guess that would
taking
be
this the
right.
full 28 minutes.
Yeah.
And but so it is interesting to see Huell give his narration over the credits.
Yeah.
So it's something a little different.
Well, this was an action-packed one, all LA stuff. One thing that I thought about is it was pretty soon after this, around the same time, that Huell began his visiting series, which visiting is very similar to California's Gold, but it's Los Angeles only. Well, Los Angeles centric. And I can't remember where I heard, it might have been in the Golden State of Mind documentary. The impetus for that show, he says, was the LA riots. That the LA riots happened and he saw that Los Angeles was getting a lot of negative press and he wanted to show the good sides of LA at that time, which is good. But I think this episode right here had another little boost because, again, just like last week with Santa Cruz, he says, it just got so much. There's so much we can do here in LA, which is true because he did hundreds of episodes of visiting.
Yeah. And there was so in Louis' book, we always make reference to it because it's a good source just with this kind of stuff. But he mentioned that this show was pretty much all over the place, as Huell had not yet gotten into the familiar California's Gold style.
Yeah.
Quote. Which, you can kind of see that. That's a lot of...
This whole first season kind of has that feel.
Yeah. And especially the next episode, which I guess we could talk about now.
Yeah, next week we're going back in time in 2 ways, because if you listen to episode 0, you know that 207, Preserving the Past, is the first episode that was aired and shot. This was technically the first episode. We don't know why they decided to make that number 207, but that's what we've got to deal with, and we're going in the numerical order.
That's really a mystery you got to figure out.
I don't know. We need to get Louis in here. Not my dog, the Forte, Louis Forte. But yes, we're going to a couple different places. This is another 3 location segment places. Where are we going again?
Well, this is, like you said, we're going back twice.
Yeah.
Because you're going into, this is technically the first episode that was shot and aired. But also we're going back to the kind of, what would you call that? It's all over the place too.
The scatter
we're
shot.
We're going to Banning, Locke, and then Vista to see farm equipment. So basically by San Diego, past Riverside on the 10, east on the 10, and then near Sacramento.
Geographically all over the place.
All dispersed, yeah.
And it's a fun one because all these early episodes you're kind of getting a feel for Huell as a host, but this is the first time that he is doing the show, and I almost sense his nervousness. Mm-hmm. But we'll get into that next week. It's a good one. This was a good one. They're all good. Still no amazings, but
we're getting there.
We're still rich with history. Well, we hope that you join us again next time as we continue our search for Huell's Gold.